YouTube. Today I am bringing you a list of shoujo manga recommendations. A long time ago I made a shoujo recommendations video, so go and check out that for more recommendations, but these are some series that I have really been loving lately. So I'm going to list 5 series for you. They're all shoujo manga. One of them is possibly a shoujo, it's possibly a josei, but it's a manga that I need everybody to read anyway, so you're gonna get it whether it's shoujo or josei. It kind of fits in with everything that I'm talking about anyway. The first manga I want to talk about is Hatsu Haru by Shizuki Fujisawa. This is a high school romance shoujo manga published by Yen Press. Hatsu Haru is the story of Kai Ichinose, the school playboy. He dates tons of girls, he loves flirting with girls, going out on dates, dating girls for like a week, that sort of thing. He's a real playboy type of character until one day he has a sort of run-in with one of his childhood friends, Riko, and he just falls head over heels in love with her. Riko is not the type of girl that Kai normally goes for. Riko is short-tempered, she is a little bit scary, she's really kind of like a rough and tumble sort of girl, and that is not what Kai has been about for a long time, so it is a mystery as to why Kai has fallen in love with her, but he accepts it and starts to pursue Riko. Hatsu Haru follows Kai and his quest and his crush on Riko and how the two of them evolve, their relationship evolves, and there is a great cast of side characters. He has I think there are 3 other male characters and 3 other girl characters, and they all have different sorts of relationships and romances and that sort of thing, and it is so much fun. The thing I love about Hatsu Haru is that it is a laugh out loud good time. This manga makes me smile so much because it is so entertaining, it is so funny, and that's pretty much all to do with Kai. I mean, everything else is like hilarious, but Kai is extra special hilarious because he does a complete 180 from going from this playboy character to a complete simp for this girl. He is so in love with her, and it is the cutest thing ever. Like, one of the things that Kai does a lot is he kind of like gets it in his head about stuff and gets like he kind of spirals into overthinking, and it's very funny because he's just kind of like, I love her so much, but what if this happens, and it just becomes a whole thing. But it's so much fun. I really like this manga because it is from the guy's perspective, and I feel like the kind of typical romance roles are flipped. Normally in shoujo manga I feel like you have a girl who's like completely in love and pursuing a guy character, and then you have your guy character who is kind of like stoic. You really don't know what he is thinking, but in Hatsu Haru those roles are kind of flipped. You have Kai, who is really like emotionally attached to this girl or really in love with this girl and really tries to pursue her and just has the biggest crush on her. And then you have Riko, who you really don't know who is what they are thinking, and you like they're a little bit more stoic, a little more quiet, even though she's kind of like a rough and tumble sort of girl. But it's kind of like your typical romance tropes, I guess, are kind of flipped on their heads, and you have the guy character's perspective most of the time, and it's really fun. This manga is only 13 volumes, and really you will just fly through it. I read about half the series in just one night because I really just wanted to finish it, and I had such an amazingly fun time. One of the really funny like kind of gags throughout this is Kai like tends to compare his relationship or love and relationships to like kind of cosmic concepts or like space, and I don't know the right term for it, but a lot of like science terms, and they use this image of Einstein, the one with like his tongue out, and it's just like, it just seems, it's so weird and funny that it's just like placed throughout this manga, and it's just a great time. Like, really, if you want to have a really cute, fun shoujo manga from the perspective of a guy, definitely pick out Hatsu Haru. The next manga that I am going to recommend is actually a digital manga, so I don't have a like physical copy of it, but it is Ran the Peerless Beauty. This is a manga by Amitsu, and I think there are 10 volumes in total of the whole manga, but in English there have been only 8 published. Ran the Peerless Beauty is about this girl Ran, and she is known as the mountaintop flower, which kind of means that she is kind of like this really rare beauty. She is really good at sports, she is really good at school, and she's just like a super nice, polite girl. But everybody thinks she's so perfect that they kind of stay away and be like, oh, nobody can touch her because we don't want to like ruin this perfect flower of a girl. So she is kind of a lonely sort of girl. She doesn't have a ton of friends, and she hasn't had a lot of experience with like love and relationships. This all doesn't seem to really bother Ran that much. She's just like kind of happy and content in her life. She wishes she could have a little bit more, but she's doing just fine in high school. One day she meets Akira, and Akira is your like popular high school boy in her class, and they end up meeting and kind of become friends and slowly like get into a relationship. It is a super soft and sweet manga. Like it fills the hole that Kimi ni Todoke left in my heart after I finished that. It has a similar premise to Kimi ni Todoke, and it has the same sort of vibe. So if you're really looking for something like Kimi ni Todoke, then I would definitely pick up Ran the Peerless Beauty. I really want to get this manga published. I need a physical copy of it. One of the things that I really like about Ran the Peerless Beauty is the flower themes throughout it. Ran is really into gardening, and Akira's family runs a florist? His parents are florists? So flowers play a really big role in kind of like the imagery and the storytelling of this manga. So if you are really looking for something like cute and sweet and something that will just make you really happy and fluffy, then I would definitely pick out Ran the Peerless Beauty. Kodansha has been very slow about getting this manga out, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a demand thing, but it was like a year between or over a year, I think, probably between volume 8 and volume 9, I think. Volume 9 comes out on July 20th of 2021, so you can look forward to that, and hopefully they release volume 10 soon after that, because I will die if I have to wait another year for a digital manga. Definitely, I highly recommend Ran the Peerless Beauty. So the next manga that I want to talk about is another digital only title, and I think technically it is classified as a josei, but I've also seen it mentioned as a shoujo, so I'm not 100% sure where this manga falls in, but it's something that I want everyone to read, so I'm going to mention it anyway. And that is Chihayafuru by Yuki Suegetsu. Chihayafuru is a digital only manga published by Kodansha, and it is the story of Chihaya and her friends in their journey through competitive karuta. A very brief explanation of what karuta is. It's very weird, but it's essentially a card game. It's generally seen as like a game for kids, or like a fun family game, and not something that people pursue competitively or want to be like really good at. And it's essentially, there are these poems in Japanese literature, and the cards have half of the poem on it. A reader reads the poem and then half the poem, and then you have to claim the card that has the other half of the poem before the other player does, essentially. The competitive side to it is very competitive and intense. But yeah, that's kind of what Karuta is. So Chihayafuru is about Chihaya and mainly her friends Arata and Taichi, and they start playing competitive Karuta together as elementary schoolers. And Arata is an extremely gifted Karuta player. His grandfather is like the master of Karuta, and he kind of throws his love of Karuta onto Chihaya and less so her friend Taichi. But they have a lot of fun playing it as kids, and then Arata has to move away. And then the series kind of time skips into high school, where Chihaya is still very much into Karuta. It is her thing. Chihaya is all about Karuta, and she wants to start a competitive Karuta club in her high school. So it's kind of Chihaya aiming to be the best Karuta player in the world, because if you are the best Karuta player in Japan, you are the best Karuta player in the world, because it's very Japanese game. It's a game that's in Japanese, so yeah. So it's her quest to be the best Karuta player ever, and it's also about her starting this club and the friends that she makes through this club and their journeys through tournaments and getting better and all of that. There is also the friendship aspect of this manga, where Arata as a high schooler has left competitive Karuta, and it's kind of Chihaya and Taichi bringing Arata back to competitive Karuta. There is also a romance subplot that I am very invested in. Chihayafuru literally has something for everyone. If you love sports manga, then read Chihayafuru. If you love high schoolers, like aiming for their dreams, read Chihayafuru. If you like kind of love triangles, read Chihayafuru. If you love stories about extremely passionate people racing towards a goal, then read Chihayafuru. There is a character and there is a situation and there is a story element for literally everyone. It is such an amazing manga, and I really do not understand why it is not in print. You can get a bilingual version, but you cannot get just like a straight up English version, which is extremely annoying. There's so many different characters in this. So since Karuta is a game that isn't based off of like age really, and it's more of skill, and depending on your skill levels, like which section you're in, you get a whole range of different kinds of characters and competitors that Chihaya and her friends go up against. They do have their high school only tournaments that they play in, but then there's also the larger Karuta tournaments that they play in. You meet so many different types of people through this. You have young kids who are like prodigies and how they're playing to live up to that expectation. There are people who used to be on top of the game and have since like fallen from being on top. You have mothers, you have old men who have been playing Karuta for years and years and years, and it is so good. Another thing I want to mention about Chihayafuru is the discussion it has about talent, skill, and hard work, and where that plays into like competition or sports. And you have characters that have massive amounts of like natural talent, and characters who have really great like game sense or skill in Karuta, and also characters who have to work so hard to be good at Karuta. And I just really like all of like the discussion it has through about like this topic. It's something that I really relate to and really like reading about. I especially like how this conversation is like made through the character of Taichi. I am in love with Taichi. Just his entire story is so amazing to me. But that is an aspect of this manga that I love so much. There is an anime for this, and I highly recommend watching the anime also, because Karuta is has a lot to do with sound, and so hearing the sound is really important to the like story, and it adds just like another thing to the manga, but the manga is so good. I believe there are 40 something volumes out in Japan, I think. Kodansha has 26 of them in English, and most of them are available through their like Comixology Unlimited, or what is the other one? Kindle Unlimited, so you can read them if you have a subscription to that. I believe there's a new digital manga service in partnership with Kodansha coming out, and it's like Azuki or something like that, and I believe Chihayafuru is going to be included in that. It was in a picture. Art in Chihayafuru is also like gorgeous. Like it's so good. Like I've obviously been talking about Chihayafuru for so long, and everybody needs to read Chihayafuru. If you take one thing away from me, it's just to read freaking Chihayafuru. My next manga recommendation comes with a little bit of a caveat in that there are only 3 volumes published right now, and that is Those Not So Sweet Boys by Yoko Nogiri. Yoko Nogiri is also the author of That Wolf Boy Is Mine and Love and Focus. So this is a newer manga series from them, and it is very, very good. At least I think so. I think people should read this. So Those Not So Sweet Boys is about a girl named Midori, and one day she drops her wallet and it is picked up by a high school boy who goes to her school, and it's returned, and she's like, oh, what a nice boy. And then she finds out, oh, he's actually kind of rude later. He is friends with 2 other boys from school, and they are always skipping class, and through a manner of ridiculous circumstances, honestly, Midori has to get these boys to come back to school. Everybody thinks they're delinquents, they skip school all the time, but actually they're like rich bratty boys. And so Midori tries to infiltrate their little friend group and bring them back to school and kind of like open them up outside of their little social circle. I have just been so charmed by this manga. There's definitely a romance element to it, of course. I don't really know what it is. I think it's kind of like, I love stories about like close-knit groups of friends and them kind of like working through their problems that way with romance as the main plot. Art in this is so nice. It is like so light and like airy, I want to say. Yoko Nogiri's art is just like absolutely beautiful. It is like simple but so pretty. There's a little thing in this where one of these boys is not too keen on interlopers in their little friend group, so there's kind of that point of contention. There are love triangles, crushes, all of your like typical high school stuff, and it's just like, it feels very simple, but it feels very well executed. It's the same thing with like Waiting for Spring. It's very hard to sell it because it seems kind of mundane, but it's just like I feel like it's a very well executed high school shoujo manga. So there are only 3 volumes out as of recording this video. It seems to be coming out very quickly, but I don't think I think volume 4 actually comes out way later in the year. We'll have to wait a bit, I think, for this, but highly recommend Those Not So Sweet Boys if you want sort of a simple high school romance with a bunch of like kind of bratty rich boys who learn to be less bratty. Of course, the gorgeous art. The last manga that I want to talk about is a manga that I am obsessed with. Every once in a while I find a manga that just consumes my entire soul, and this is the new one. I think the last one was Waiting for Spring, and this is the new one, and it is QQ Sweeper and its continuation, Queen's Quality. This is a dark shoujo series by Kyosuke Motomi, the same author as Dengeki Daisy, who I thought was a man, but it's actually a woman with a male pen name, so that's good. This is published by Shoujo Beat, and it is literally the only thing I want to talk about or think about or read at this moment. QQ Sweeper is 3 volumes, and then Queen's Quality is 11 volumes currently as of recording this. I think volume 12 is coming out very soon. I think maybe in July, I don't remember. But anyway, this manga series is about this girl Fumi, who is like really down on her luck. She thinks she is cursed, she is homeless, she has no family, she has nobody or anything. She wanders into a room at school and falls asleep. The person who finds her is Kyutaro, who is a sweeper. And sweepers are people who kind of get rid of the negative energy in people's hearts and minds. So Fumi is sleeping in this room, and she really shouldn't be in the room, and she shouldn't really know it's there, and there's a door in there and she shouldn't see the door and all of this. So things lead to another, and Fumi ends up basically being adopted by Kyutaro's family, and is training to become a sweeper also. Fumi and Kyutaro go on like these missions, I guess, to get rid of all these negative energy in people's hearts, and then they find out that Fumi has the potential to become a queen, which grants her a lot of new powers, and she has the potential to be a good queen or a bad queen, and depending on several different circumstances, we have to find out which one Fumi is gonna become. I love everything about this series. First off, it's a really great story. It starts off sort of like what I call Monster of the Week, where it's like a new problem every week and you get little bits of the story, and then it kind of evolves into this larger situation. It's just a really well executed story. The art in this is absolutely gorgeous. Like every panel I was just like, oh my god, this is so good, this is so good, this is so good. It's beautiful. I love it so much. The characters are all really fun. I love Kyutaro so much. He is such a good shoujo protagonist. Fumi is a really great girl, and the rest of the cast of characters, Kyutaro's family, all the other sweepers are just amazing. There's a lot of emphasis on comfort and making sure you're in the right headspace. These characters deal with a lot of really intense negative emotions all of the time, so they are really concentrated on keeping their heads clean and their spaces clean also. Cleaning is a really good thing about this. Sweepers clean people's minds, but they also keep their spaces clean, which is something that really resonates with me as a person who suffers from anxiety and probably depression, but something that really helps me clear my head and make me feel better is having a clean space. I really resonated with that aspect of this story. It really talks a lot about supporting each other while you are feeling down, or when you maybe deal with a lot of really intense emotions or a lot of negative emotions, and it really emphasizes the importance of having people around you who love you and who can kind of help you through any sort of like really bad feelings that you're having. So I liked that kind of like mini discussion on like mental health and just the importance of like supportive people in your life, essentially. The other thing that I am obsessed with this is the romance in it, and the romance is just like, it's so good, it's so intense. Relationship between Fumi and Kyutaro is so good. There is obviously a really big romance element to it, and they are, it's so good. Since they have this kind of like comfort and making sure each other are okay, their lines of communication are really open, and your girl loves some open communication between romantic partners. You can just see how important they are to each other. There's a lot of like, they have like a really physical relationship, but not in like a physical way. There's a lot of touch, there is a lot of like hugging and like leading, that sort of thing. It's just like some of the most like intense like romantic moments within a shoujo manga that I've ever seen. And when you get to the later volumes where they're kind of like, I don't know, there are things that happen and you're just like, I'm just screaming this entire time. So highly recommend. I don't see a ton of people talking about this, maybe a little bit more now, but I feel like people are like finally waking up to the greatness that this is. I know I recently did. Really, like, if you want like a really good dark shoujo with a lot of really good romantic moments, then definitely pick up Queen's Quality and QQ Sweeper. You have to read QQ Sweeper first, the first 3 volumes, and then you can go on to Queen's Quality. If you just start with Queen's Quality, you are going to be confused. Those are my current shoujo manga recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've read any of these, please let me know. If you have any other recommendations, leave them down in the comments. In the description below, you will find a link, a Right Stuff affiliate link, where you can go and purchase all of these manga except for the digital manga Chihayafuru and Ren the Peerless Beauty. You can't buy the digital manga on Right Stuff, but the other 3 series that I did talk about you can buy on Right Stuff. Use my affiliate link. It helps out me and the channel. And also, just a mini plug, I do have a wish list down in the bottom, so I'm constantly updating it with new manga that I might be interested in. So if there's something that you want me to read and review, you can get it from my wish list. It's definitely not a requirement, or you don't have to do it at all. It's just there if you want it. Yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more shoujo recommendations from me. Let me know in the comments what type of recommendation video you would like to see next. If there's a specific theme that you want to see me talk about. I do have 2 other shoujo recommendation videos. I have a general shoujo recommendations, and then I have a short shoujo manga recommendations video also. If there are any other types of themes that you want me to talk about and recommend things for, definitely let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more shoujo manga goodness from me. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Till next time, matane!